For centuries, legends spoke of the Trojan Horse as a simple trick, a clever ruse of Greek cunning. But hidden in the shadows of history lies a deeper truth, an untold story of betrayal, desperation, and sacrifice. Tonight, the silence outside Troy's gates conceals not just warriors, but destiny itself. For 10 long years, Greeks and Trojans clashed on these blood-soaked plains. Neither side claimed victory. Thousands perished, and the gods themselves seemed divided. Weariness filled every heart, and whispers grew that this war might never end.
The Greeks had grown desperate. Food was scarce, morale shattered, leaders quarreled, blaming each other for failures. Yet one man, Odysseus, known for wit beyond measure, proposed a scheme so daring that even his allies doubted its madness or its brilliance.
Odysseus spoke. "We cannot break Troy with swords. We must break them with their pride. Let us build a gift, a horse vast enough to awe them. Within its hollow belly, our best warriors shall hide, and the city itself will open its gates for us." By moonlight and secrecy, the Greeks labored. From ship timbers, they carved a beast unlike any ever seen, a towering horse, symbol of Troy's most cherished animal. Sweat and fire turned wood into legend, while whispers of gods guiding their hands stirred among the men. Within the belly of the beast, the chosen warriors crept inside. Odysseus, Menelaus, Diomedes, and others of renown. Their breaths were shallow, their eyes fierce. Each knew that once sealed within, there would be no turning back. At dawn, the Greeks sailed away, their ships vanishing beyond the horizon. To the Trojans, it appeared as though the war was over. They saw the horse left behind, massive and unmoving, a mysterious relic of their enemy's defeat. The Trojans marveled at the horse. Some saw it as a divine gift, a symbol of victory. Others feared a trick. Debate raged at the gates. Should they burn it, drag it inside, or leave it to rot? The fate of Troy hung on their choice. The priest Laocoon cried out, "Beware of Greeks bearing gifts! This horse is no offering, it is a trap!" Yet, as if in answer to his warning, the gods sent serpents from the sea to strangle him and his sons. The Trojans, terrified, believed the gods had silenced him for blasphemy. With Laocoon gone, the Trojans threw open their gates. With laughter and triumph, they pulled the horse inside their city. Music filled the streets, and at last, after 10 long years, Troy believed peace and victory had come. The city of Troy erupted with joy. After years of grief and war, laughter returned to its streets. Wine flowed, music echoed, and children played beneath the shadow of the horse. No one knew that inside the beast, silent warriors held their breath in darkness. As night deepened, Troy sank into slumber. The warriors who had feasted now lay drunk and weary. Only a few guards remained at their posts, yawning under the pale moonlight. Above them all, the horse loomed, waiting for its hour. Inside the wooden giant, the hidden warriors endured silence. Muscles cramped, throats dry, hearts racing with each passing second. Odysseus whispered, "Patience, the night is ours." They waited, shadows among shadows, for the signal to strike. Unseen by Troy, the Greek fleet returned. They had not fled, but merely hid behind an island. Now, like wolves in the dark, they crept back to shore, ready to join their brothers hidden within the horse. The trap was almost sprung. Sinon, the Greek left behind, crept to the walls and raised his torch. A single flame pierced the night, the signal for the fleet to return. The gods themselves seemed to hold their breath as fate tightened its grip around Troy. At last, the horse stirred. A hidden hatch opened, and Greek warriors poured into the silent streets.
Their blades gleamed like cold fire under the moon. Step by step, they moved through the city like shadows of death. The hidden warriors struck the guards without mercy. With a thunderous creak, the gates of Troy swung open. Outside, the Greek army rushed in like a flood unleashed, swords drawn, vengeance burning in their eyes. Troy awoke in terror. Flames devoured homes, screams pierced the night, and steel clashed against steel. The proud city that had stood for centuries now drowned in chaos. The horse had opened not the gates of victory, but of doom. Old King Priam, kneeling before the statue of a god inside his palace, clutching a sword with trembling hands, as a Greek warrior raises his blade above him, flames glowing through palace windows. Cassandra, cursed with foresight, had long warned of Troy's fate. Now, chained and silenced, she wept as her visions became reality. The gods had spoken through her cries, but no one had listened. Troy's doom was sealed. No mercy was shown that night. Mothers clung to their children, but the fury of the Greeks spared none. Blood flowed through the streets like rivers of sorrow. The cries of the innocent rose to the heavens, yet the gods turned their faces away. Amid the carnage, one man fled, Aeneas. With his father on his shoulders and his child at his side, he carved a path through fire and ruin. Guided by destiny, he carried the last hope of Troy toward a future far beyond the ashes. Even the holy temple of Athena, protector of Troy, was not spared. Soldiers shattered her statues, spilled blood upon her altar, and looted her treasures. In their triumph, the Greeks sowed the seeds of their own curse, for the gods do not forgive desecration. The son of Hector, the greatest Trojan hero, was seized by Neoptolemus. With merciless rage, he hurled the child from the walls, silencing Troy's future in one cruel act. The city's last hope of rebirth was dashed upon the stones. The daughters of Troy, once princesses, became slaves. Dragged in chains, their cries echoed through the burning streets. For the Greeks, victory was glory. For Troy, it was humiliation beyond death. To honor the fallen Achilles, the Greeks demanded blood. Princess Polyxena, pure and unbroken, was sacrificed at his tomb. Her last breath carried a curse that the Greeks too would taste sorrow before they reached their homes. At the heart of the ruin stood Helen, whose beauty had sparked the war. Menelaus, her husband, raised his blade to end her life. Yet as he gazed upon her, rage gave way to desire. Helen lived, but her survival deepened Troy's tragedy. Though hailed as the mastermind of victory, Odysseus stood in silence. The screams of Troy haunted him, for he knew the cost of cunning. His heart bore the weight of slaughter, a burden he would carry long into his own cursed journey home. When dawn rose, it revealed only ash and ruin. Troy, once a jewel of the world, was reduced to rubble. The horse that had promised victory now stood as a monument of deceit, its shadow stretching across a graveyard of kings. But the gods were not silent. Athena burned with anger at her temple's desecration. Poseidon trembled with rage, and Zeus prepared judgment. Though the Greeks had triumphed, their victory carried a curse. The price of hubris would soon be paid. With Troy in ashes, the Greeks gathered their spoils, gold, slaves, and broken pride. They marched to the shore, their ships heavy with plunder. Yet, as they gazed back at the city they destroyed, none could shake the sense that the gods watched with fury. Soon after leaving Troy, the skies darkened. Storms rose with unnatural force, hurling waves like mountains against their ships. Many whispered that Athena herself unleashed her wrath, punishing them for defiling her sacred temple. Among them was Ajax the Lesser, who had dishonored Athena by defiling her priestess. As he mocked the storm, A lightning bolt split the sea, dragging him to his watery grave. The gods claimed their vengeance. Agamemnon returned to his throne, crowned in victory. But in the shadows, his queen plotted revenge for the daughter he had sacrificed. On the very night of his return, Clytemnestra's blade ended his reign. The curse of Troy followed him home. Menelaus carried Helen home across the sea. Though she smiled with her unearthly beauty, her presence was a reminder of the countless lives lost for her sake. His heart burned with both triumph and torment, unable to escape her spell. Odysseus set sail for Ithaca, longing for wife and child. Yet the gods had woven a long and twisted path for him. His journey would span 10 more years, filled with monsters, trials, and temptations. The mind that birthed the horse would be tested like never before. But Troy did not end with fire. Aeneas led a band of survivors away from the ruins. With weary feet and heavy hearts, they carried the memory of their fallen home. Destiny whispered that from their ashes, a new empire would one day rise. The gods revealed a vision to Aeneas, a new city, greater than Troy, rising on distant shores. From his bloodline would come Rome, an empire destined to rule the world. Troy had fallen, but its spirit would endure forever. The horse remained, blackened by flame, its purpose fulfilled. It stood as a grim reminder that cunning can topple walls stronger than stone. For generations, it would be remembered not only as a trick of war, but as a symbol of both brilliance and betrayal. Yet not all was told. Behind the legend lies a tale of sorrow, of gods and men entwined by pride, vengeance, and fate. The untold truth of the Trojan horse is that it was not merely wood and warriors, it was destiny, carved into history forever. When the ashes cooled, poets took up the tale. Around fires and in crowded halls, they sang of heroes and gods, of battles and betrayals. Yet in their songs, truth and legend intertwined, shaping a story that would echo for eternity. From Greece to distant shores, the tale of the horse spread. Each land wove its own version. Some glorified Greek cunning, others mourned Trojan tragedy. The truth faded, but the myth grew stronger with every telling. The story carried a warning. Pride destroys even the mightiest. Troy trusted too deeply in its own walls, and the Greeks defied the gods in their arrogance. Hubris chained both sides to destiny, proving no city, no king, no army is beyond ruin. Victory did not bring peace. The Greeks who burned Troy paid dearly. Storms, betrayal, and blood stained their return. The horse had won them the war, but the gods demanded their price. Victory became curse. From the ashes of Troy rose Rome. Aeneas's bloodline gave birth to an empire greater than Greece itself. Ironically, Troy's destruction became the seed of a power destined to rule the known world. Fate had not ended, it had only begun anew. The horse endured not just as a weapon, but as a symbol. To some it represented human genius, to others betrayal and deceit. But to all it was proof that ideas, not swords, can change the course of history. High on Olympus, the gods watched in silence. They had shaped the war, stirred hearts, and punished pride. Yet even they seemed humbled by what had unfolded, proof that destiny, once set in motion, cannot be stopped, even by divine hands. Years later, survivors returned to Troy's ruins. They found silence where laughter once lived, and weeds where kings once ruled. Among the ashes lay the remains of the horse, a broken monument to the night when fire consumed a nation. The tale has never died. Scholars debate its truth, artists paint its image, and poets breathe new life into its verses. Whether myth or history,
the story of the Trojan horse endures, reminding us of the fragile line between wisdom and folly. In the end, the Trojan horse is more than wood, more than war. It is a mirror held to humanity, our pride, our brilliance, our cruelty, and our fate. It stands forever in history's shadow, a reminder that the greatest battles are not fought with swords but with deception and belief.